Jimmy is a weak man. He has a weak frame and a flabby stomach, but he decides to finally take action. This summer I'm finally going to achieve my dream body. He runs, he jumps, he does the jump rope, and he's still skinny. All this effort for what? He thinks to himself. What am I doing wrong? Leonidas is strong. He lifts heavy iron, he carries the weight, he doesn't fit into his car seat. Through thousands of workouts, he sculpted his gigantic muscles. He has the V-taper that every fitness YouTuber aspires to build. He looks at Jimmy. Jimmy, stop doing so much cardio. More and more people are starting to work on themselves. This itself is a very good thing, but the approach that many are having is wrong. They think running will get them in good shape if they do it consistently. Don't get me wrong, cardio has a lot of health benefits, and strongly out of shape people will still benefit from it. But if your goal is to have an aesthetic physique, then only doing cardio will not get you there. You will lose fat, but without a good amount of muscle mass, this will only make you look skinnier. That is why you have to start weightlifting. Now there are some of you who are saying, but I only want to lose a bit of weight, I don't want to get too muscular. So firstly, you will never get too muscular if you're natural. Secondly, most of you are just coping saying this, and deep inside, you still want to have an aesthetic physique, but are just too lazy to put in the work. You will never look into the mirror and say, I think I'm too muscular. This will never happen, trust me. Only by proper strength training, which means getting your diet right, as well as your training, which we'll get to in a minute, you are able to achieve an attractive and aesthetic physique. First things first, the diet. I would advise you to track all your food with an app called MyFitnessPal. Firstly, cut out all the sweets and junk food. These will only make it harder for you to reach your goal, and the short-term pleasure isn't really worth the long-term sacrifice. Depending on whether you're skinny or fat, or skinny fat, you should either cut or bulk first. Cutting essentially means losing fat, and bulking means gaining muscle. If you're a beginner and overweight, then you can also gain muscle and lose fat in a calorie deficit. For everyone else, you have to bulk first. If you're skinny or have a normal weight, then you shouldn't do your first proper cut until you have already trained for at least 2 years consistently. Until then, you have to do a so-called lean bulk. This means you should eat at least 300 calories above your maintenance calories and also hit your macros. Too many guys make the mistake that they are cutting too early and therefore sacrifice a lot of muscle gain. Don't even think about cutting if your arms don't have at least a 40 cm circumference. You will mostly only build muscle while gaining weight. So trying so desperately to keep your abs would mostly only hold you back. You have to be ready to lose them for a while. Eat about 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. In pounds, this would be about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Foods you should prioritize would be beef, chicken, rice, pasta, eggs, oats, protein powder, nuts, fruits, and lots of vegetables. By the way, you should also drink at least 3 liters of water per day, since hydration is the foundation of your health and essential if you want to have lots of energy. Now we come to the good part, your training. First and foremost, without consistency, nothing else really matters. Training consistently is the most important part when it comes to making progress. You can do everything perfectly for a week, but if you quit after that, then someone who's training suboptimally but very consistently will be way ahead of you. The second important thing is to have a good workout routine, which especially prioritizes the 5 aesthetic muscles. These are your neck, your upper traps, your side delts, your back, and your upper chest. The other muscle groups should also be trained, of course, but the ones I just listed should be very prioritized. This is because these muscles will give you the so-called V-taper. It's when your body is shaped like a V. It's the most attractive body frame for a guy. It's like the hourglass physique. For a woman. Only doing compound exercises, like all these people on Reddit are saying, won't give you an aesthetic physique. That's why specifically training all these 5 important muscles is so essential. If you don't know how to do an exercise, just look up some videos on YouTube on how to do them. Lastly, You have to progressively overload. This means you increase your overall volume, which essentially are your reps, sets, and the weight you are using after a certain amount of time, which is always repeated. While beginners are making progress nearly every workout, people who are already training for some time, like I do, make slower progress. A good example for progressive overload would be you press 40 kilograms on the bench for 10 reps, then 1 week after you press it for 12 reps, and another week after, you increase the weight to 45 kilograms, which you do for 8 reps. You should only increase your volume when you are able to do your current volume with a very clean execution. Ego lifting will only blame yourself and make you look stupid and will very much slow down your progress. Clean form with a lower weight will always be superior to a shitty form with very high weights. Of course, best would be clean form with very high weights, but it takes a lot of time to achieve that, unless you use steroids. If you never progressively overload, your progress will become stagnant. It's like digging into the ground. At first, you'll be fine with simple tools and don't need that much effort, but as you dig deeper and deeper, the ground becomes more harder and you need to increase your effort as well as improve your tools. Same goes for strength training. As a beginner, compound exercises may be already enough to cause good muscle growth. But as you progress, your muscles need more intensity to grow and you have to train more specific. If you apply all these things I said in the video and you stay consistent with everything, then it's only a matter of time until you reach your dream physique. Always improve, it only gets better from here.